The Whistlers of the Appalachian Trail. Liam zipped up his backpack and stepped onto the Appalachian Trail, camera slung over his shoulder. The early morning mist clung to the trees like breath held too long. Birds called in the distance, but even they seemed cautious. He stopped in a small town near the trailhead, buying supplies from a general store run by an old woman. When he mentioned hiking past the Virginia line, she froze mid-scan. "You're going alone?" she asked. "Yeah," Liam smiled. "Why?" Her eyes narrowed. "Don't whistle out there. And if you hear whistling, don't answer it." He laughed, thinking it was just some backwoods superstition. That night he set up camp by a quiet stream. The forest pressed close, thick and watchful. He lit a fire, recorded a short video, ate from a can, and crawled into his tent. At 2:13 a.m., something woke him. A sound, light, rhythmic, whistling. 4 notes, repeating, faint but growing clearer. He held his breath. It didn't stop. It moved through the trees slowly, deliberately. He didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning he debated turning back, but pride and the promise of unique footage kept him moving. Around noon he found a rotted backpack off trail. Scattered near it were bones picked clean. No clothes, no ID. Further down, buried beneath damp leaves, he found a notebook. Day 1. Lost the trail. Heard someone whistling all night. Day 2. Whistling got closer. Thought I saw someone outside my tent. Day 3. It's mimicking me now. I whistle, it whistles back. Day 4. I think it wears faces. Day 5. I shouldn't have whistled. The last page was smeared in dried blood and dirt. No more words. That night, Liam built his fire high. The woods were too quiet. No crickets, no wind. Then it started again. Whistling. 4 notes. Same melody. From one direction. Then another. Then a third. He didn't sleep at all. The next day, the trail felt wrong. The trees looked familiar, as if he were looping back. His GPS flickered, then died completely. No signal, just the faint buzz of silence. He walked for hours before spotting a figure ahead, crouched by a tree. "Hey!" Liam called, relief washing over him. "Hey, man!" The figure stood slowly. It wore hiking gear, same build, same camera, same face. Liam stopped in his tracks. The thing smiled at him, then whistled. 4 notes. The same notes. Liam ran. Branches tore at his arms. The forest seemed to shift, closing in. The whistling followed. Now several voices, all the same tune. At dusk, he collapsed near a dry creek bed, lungs burning. He turned on his camera, voice shaking. "If someone finds this, I don't know what's out here. It looks like me. It sounds like me. It's close now. I can hear it breathing." A pause. The faint sound of leaves crunching. I think it wants my face." He turned the camera toward the darkening woods. Shapes stood between the trees, 5 or 6 of them, all him, all smiling. They whistled in perfect unison. 4 notes. Then, silence. Liam was never found, but months later, hikers reported seeing a man deep in the trail, waving politely from the trees. If they approached, he was gone. If they ignored him, they heard a tune behind them, 4 notes, and if they ever whistled back, they were never seen again. Marcus was driving through rural Pennsylvania when his GPS glitched. The screen froze, spun, then rerouted him onto a road he didn't recognize. Gray Birch Lane. Narrow, tree-lined, and oddly quiet. He figured it was just a backroad shortcut and kept driving. The trees pressed in close. No signs, no houses, no other cars. Just endless woods and a single-lane road that felt too narrow for comfort. After 20 minutes, the GPS screen turned black. No signal. Then he saw it. A sign nailed to a crooked post. "Welcome to Ravenmoor." A town? Out here? Curious, he slowed as the trees opened into a strange little town. Everything looked like it was from the 1940s. Old cars, faded paint, children playing with jump ropes and stick toys. The people all stared at him as he drove past, silent. He pulled into a diner. The sign read, Grace's Kitchen. Inside, it smelled like strong coffee and meatloaf. The woman behind the counter looked surprised. "We don't get many visitors," she said. Marcus smiled awkwardly. "My GPS brought me through here, trying to get to Harrisburg." Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Well, you're a ways off." He ate a plate of roast beef that tasted odd, metallic. The people watched him from other booths, never speaking, just staring. When he asked if there was a motel nearby, she nodded. "End of the road. Can't miss it." The Ravenmore Inn looked like it had been built before the Civil War. Still, he was too tired to argue. The man at the desk handed him a brass key without a word. That night he heard singing, low, wordless humming. He peeked through the window. In the town square, dozens of people stood around a bonfire, still, silent, all staring at something in the flames, something writhing. He stepped back and closed the curtain. In the morning, his car wouldn't start. He went to the diner. It was gone. Just an empty lot with weeds and burned beams. No people, no children, no sound. He walked back to the inn. The windows were boarded. His room, empty, like no one had been there in years. He ran to the entrance of town. The sign was gone. The road behind him? Just forest. No path, no tire tracks. He was trapped. By evening, the townspeople returned, silent, smiling, watching. Car wouldn't start, diner gone, empty lot, boarded windows, no one, no sound, trapped. Townspeople returned, silent, smiling, watching. They circled him in the square as the bonfire was lit again. One man stepped forward, the same man who gave him the motel key. "You came," he said, voice hoarse. "The offering always comes." Marcus tried to run, but the crowd closed in. Dozens of arms dragged him toward the flames. He screamed, but no one blinked. No one ever left Ravenmore. Some nights, hikers hear screaming in those woods, and sometimes, if you turn off your GPS and just drive, you'll find a road that isn't on any map. Gray Birch Lane. If you see the sign that says "Welcome to Ravenmore," turn back, if you can. Elliot moved into the apartment on a rainy Tuesday. It was cheap, furnished, and close to work, too good to pass up. The landlord, a pale man with shaking hands, said almost nothing during the walkthrough except one thing. "Don't open the door in the hallway." Elliot blinked. "What door?" The landlord didn't answer, just handed him the keys and left. The apartment was fine. Small kitchen, old wooden floors, dusty windows, but there was a hallway, just off the bedroom. Narrow, short. At the end of it, a door, old, peeling paint, no knob. He tried pushing it, locked solid. That night, he dreamed of knocking. 3 slow knocks, then silence. Then a voice low and scratchy, "Let me in." He woke up sweating. The hallway was dark. The door at the end looked closer somehow. Each night, the dreams got worse. "Knock, knock, knock, let me in, I'm so cold. Let me in." On the 5th night, the door wasn't locked anymore. He pushed it open. It revealed a small nursery. Crib, toys, dust, cobwebs. The mobile above the crib turned slowly, even though there was no breeze. He backed away and shut the door. The next morning, he found baby footprints in the dust outside the hallway. Bare, tiny, leading into the kitchen. He called the landlord. "What the hell is this? There's a nursery behind that door." A long pause. "It wasn't open," the landlord said flatly. "You shouldn't have opened it." Elliot moved to hang up. "Whatever it looks like, whatever it sounds like," the landlord added, "don't pick it up." That night, the crying started, soft, muffled sobs from behind the door. He didn't sleep. The next night, the cries got louder, more desperate. On the 3rd night, it was inside his bedroom. He turned on the light. Nothing there. But the blanket was bunched up, shaped like a child, breathing. He reached out. It vanished. The lights blew out. That was the last night Elliot stayed there. But the next tenant, 2 months later, also got a warning. Don't open the door in the hallway. She listened. But still, some nights she hears it. Knock, 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 let me in. The town of Dredge Hollow wasn't on most maps. Tucked between two dead highways, it was mostly abandoned except for a few scattered families and one strange building at its center, the old Ashbridge Library. No one ever saw anyone go in. No one ever saw anyone come out. But every morning it was open. Sam was a journalism student working on a piece about forgotten American towns. Dredge Hollow intrigued her. She arrived one gray morning, camera in hand, and knocked on the library door. It creaked open by itself. Inside, the air was thick with dust and old paper. Rows of bookshelves stretched in impossible directions. Some twisted upward, others sloped sideways. It felt like the architecture was wrong. A woman sat behind the desk, her face hidden behind a black lace veil. "Looking for anything in particular?" she asked in a voice like dry leaves. Sam smiled nervously. "Just browsing." The woman nodded. "Be careful what you open. Some books read you." Sam explored. The books had no titles, just leather covers and stitched spines. Some vibrated slightly, as if breathing. She opened one. The page was blank. Then words began to scrawl themselves in ink. "You are being watched." She slammed it shut. The next shelf she passed had a mirror built into it. As she walked by, she noticed her reflection didn't move with her. It just stood there, staring. Behind her reflection, a shadow moved. She turned. Nothing. The deeper she went, the stranger it got. Books whispered as she passed. Lights flickered overhead. A staircase led downward into a room not marked on any building plan. She descended. The air grew colder. Shelves gave way to stone walls. She found a single book lying on a pedestal. Her name was on the cover. She opened it. The first chapter described her arrival. The woman in the veil. The whispering books. The next page described her finding the book. The next described her reading it. Then she turned to a page titled, Chapter 6, You Try to Leave. She ran, back up the stairs, through the crooked halls. But the doors were gone. The exit only led her deeper into impossible rooms. Spiral staircases with no center, hallways with no end. She heard footsteps. Turning, she saw the woman with the veil, floating slightly above the ground, veil fluttering despite the still air. "This library doesn't lend," she whispered. "It keeps." The lights went out. Weeks later, a police report filed her as missing. Locals just shook their heads. "Shouldn't have gone in the library," one said. The library door creaked open every morning, waiting for the next reader.